I do definitely see it as a horror, a psychological thriller that's tackling a social issue. And that's mainly because it comes in from both, yes, the angle of paranormal and the paranormal world, but also very much about whether, what we perceive is good and right because we are told these are good and right, or bad might not be what's actually bad. And that, a lot of times this is actually a very common theme explored in horrors, which is that who the true evil is it the zombie that's trying to eat you, or is it the humans who want what you have? And so through this idea, I thought about it. I'm like, well, since as we were discussing that jinn, there are good jinn and bad jinn, and there are Muslim jinn and evil jinn, and or however that is, that what if we are told our whole lives that these beings are the evil ones, but maybe it's the humans who are trying to manipulate this, that are trying to use this for their own benefit, that are actually the ones that are bad. And I think this is the main problem that happens in the region. It's people are using the idea of or the disguise of being good to do bad things.
ولما استلبست استوت وايد عنيفة، قامت وايد تتلاعب. أنت متأكد إنك تقدر تساعدها وتطلعها من اللي هي فيه؟
اي نعم، بس الأول أشوف نوع الجن اللي فيها، وبقدرة قادر إن شاء الله بتشفى.
I find psychological horror the most interesting for me because it's themes that I feel like a lot of humanity relates to, because most of the times it's about learning one thing and then it actually being another, or being tricked, or being conditioned, or being so I think growing up in such a in this part of the world, it's very you do feel like there are several different mindsets and thoughts that are in play, that you, as you grow up, you need to define your own mindset, and you do have to battle a lot of the times these things. And that's why I feel like psychological horror, well, that's how I translate the world. Some people translate it into comedy and some people translate it into drama, but I like to find the horror in everything. In modern day horror, people want horror films or psychological thrillers, to be exact, to have a meaning. And there is a wave of it now. And the best example of that is Get Out. Get Out discusses the racial issues in the United States in such an elegant fashion. And in terms of cinematography and artwork, personally, I think that the horror genre is the place where you get to really experiment with your camera, with your storytelling, with your ability, because you're trying to build tension. So you're trying to, use sound and use art and use cinematography and use what's hidden and what's behind the camera and what's beyond the frame to tell a story that entices, excites, and scares your audience. And at the same time, you're telling them a message that then they become emotionally affected by.